Hello everyone, thank you for coming tonight to see our presentation. Sorry about what happened early. Uh, we hope we can make a better job now. We are Herman and Alan, and we are going to talk about Docker, Vagrant, and CFN. We hope that you enjoy our presentation.
For the purpose of our project, we are going to use the following solutions. Vagrant in combination with VirtualBox, CF Engine in combination with Git, Docker in combination with CAdvisor. In the case of Vagrant and VirtualBox, Vagrant will be used as a wrapper around our virtualization software solution. Basically, this means that we are going to use Vagrant for pre-configure the virtual machine that's going to be used in a way that can be repeatable. In the case of VirtualBox, VirtualBox is going to be our hypervisor for our virtual environment. Note, although we can use VirtualBox, we can also use any other type of hypervisor like Xen, KVM, or others. CF Engine and GIF. CF Engine is going to be used for primary configuration management of our project. We're also going to use GIF, which is a version control solution that's already integrated with the CF Engine in order to control any changes to our environment and actually being able to keep a better control of the deployment. Docker in combination with CAdvisor. Docker is going to use for deploying our application in a container type base. For the purpose of our project, we are going to use the Ubuntu OS within the container. We are also going to use the CentOS OS within the container. Note, we can use any other type of OS within the container. That is all to our decision. In the case of CAdvisor, we are going to use the CAdvisor for understanding the resources that will be used by each one of our containers. What this means is that although the CAdvisor itself is a container, it allows us to generate and monitor the resource consumption of each one of our services. The motivation itself for this project was very basic. We were looking to reduce the complexity of the deployment, especially when we are talking about distributed system. We wanted to look for full automation both outside and inside Docker containers. We wanted to have consistency across multiple environments with Docker-based component and non-Docker-based component. We also wanted to simplify management of this environment. That's why we are looking for one unified solution for provisioning and manage the system. How the project itself is being looked on the theoretical side. Basically, this project is looking for do a comparison between a virtualized environment and a Docker environment. We know from our classes that Docker is more efficient in the resources that are being used. This project is aiming to actually prove that concept. A very repeatable information that's been told to us is that the container have a smaller footprint than virtual machine. We all know that the virtual machine have the guest OS that have to work on top of the virtual kernel that have to work on top of the application that you actually want to deploy. But in the case of container itself, you don't have this, let's say, overhead of the virtual environment. Now, this type of scenario is the one that we are going to test, we are going to compare, and we are going to give our own conclusion of what we can actually do with the tools that was mentioned previously in the introduction.
Okay, guys. So in uh, here you can see our network diagram that we designed to prove or to test our project. Um, We have a network composed of three parts. The first one is our CFNG policy server, which is used to push and monitor nodes configuration in our Docker and Vagrant environment. Next, we have a Vagrant workstation with two Ubuntu servers deployed in VirtualBox, as Herman was talking earlier, and both have Apache, PHP, MySQL, WordPress, and a CFNG agent installed on them. Next one, we have a CentOS machine with a Docker that have two containers deployed. One have Apache, PHP, WordPress, and CFA agent, and the other one only have MySQL and CFA agent. Finally, everything is connected to the same private network by the switch and a router to get access to the internet. So, to see the result of our network, we can see in this image that we deploy a WordPress in the container and the background too. And then this Apache resides in the container that is deployed in the CentOS Docker. And remember that we have a container with Apache, PHP, and WordPress installed, and another that have the MySQL the MySQL installed. Next, in the case of the virtual machine that we deploy with Vagrant, in a most traditional approach, we deploy two virtual machines with Vagrant. Sorry to repeat, and install Apache, WordPress, PHP, MySQL, and in the CF engine, and both of them. In this image, we see the WordPress result in our first virtual machine. And in this one, we see the same, but in our second virtual machine. So, both virtual machine and the container were connected to to our CFNG policy server, and here we can see an image of that connection. This one is from the containers, that's the Docker, and here we can see a sample of the one of the virtual machine that has his agent connected to the policy server. So now that they are connected to the policy server, we can make things like policy in the configuration management, okay, CFNG, that can manage our containers in our traditional virtual machine, and they can for example, restart a process or service if it stopped. They can monitor the virtual machine or monitor the containers. In our case, the virtual machine, we are monitoring them with the CFN. Thanks to the policy server, we we can monitor different kind of methods within our virtual machines that we deploy with the Vega. Here you can see some examples. Next one is the monitoring with the C advisor. The C advisor is meant to monitor the container. In the sample picture, you can see image from the result that we obtain within the container. And those different methods that we can get with CF Engine and C Advisor will help us to compare a full deployment with containers against traditional virtual machine scenario.
Our conclusion was that based on the ability of the tools that was previously mentioned, we can actually do this type of scenario in which we can have a portable infrastructure. I know it's a real hard concept to get it around with, but for example, we use a Mac OS system, OS basically. We use the Vagrant to launch a virtual machine already pre-configured with the CF Engine client. With the CF Engine agent on it that's already giving information to the policy server. But that virtual machine is already inheriting a policy from such policy server that already start specific Dockers. And those Dockers already have the CF Engine plugin within themselves. This allows them to keep the process running and keep an internal policy check of the CF Engine within that Docker or within that container that is running on the Docker system. So, what can we have for future work? For future work, we are thinking about managing multiple network interface, implementing host-based firewall rules, VPN connections, manage interactive user access to the resources that we are deploying with Docker and containers, creating a centralized location for both the logs that we will be using for the Dockers and from the VM, and of course testing our environment within a cloud scenario, maybe AWS, Google, or another. Any question, guys?